Imagine a silent silhouette standing just behind the throne, no glittering gowns, no headline-grabbing scandals, but possessed of a will forged in iron. She is the only woman who ever looked down the barrel of a kidnapper's gun and responded with 3 icy words that became legend: "Not bloody likely." While the rest of the world is dazzled by the camera flashes and the opulence of the palace, she quietly sets records of devotion that even King Charles III views with profound respect. Welcome to the secret files of Windsor's Iron Lady, Princess Anne. Hers is a life defined by paradox, wielding supreme power while choosing reclusion, and possessing immense wealth while practicing astonishing frugality. The next 8 chapters will peel back the veil of mystery surrounding the woman known as the secret weapon, the one who keeps the wheels of the British monarchy turning amidst the fiercest of storms. The icon of discipline and grit, behind the gilded walls. Deep within the corridors of the House of Windsor, where every footstep echoes with history and every room glitters with the aura of a trillion-dollar empire, there exists a figure unlike any other. While the royal system operates like a colossal machine, where extravagant privileges have become as natural as breathing, such as devoted staff squeezing exactly 1 inch of toothpaste onto a toothbrush every morning, Princess Anne chose her own path, far removed from such superfluous luxuries. For many within the royal fold, realizing one's destiny is something ghastly and inexorable, a crushing weight of the crown and its burdens. But for Anne, she does not look to the crown for power, she looks to it as a reminder of discipline. Anne's legendary grit is not a mask worn for the media's cameras. It is the raw essence of a woman who grew up amidst priceless treasures yet craved the harshness of reality. In a world where opulence is often mistaken for human worth, Anne understands that respect cannot be bought with diamonds or vast estates. She is the only one who dares to look directly into the glare of the monarchy's glamour and refuse to be softened by it. While others might be swept away by the whirlwind of intricate ceremonies, Anne chooses to stand firm with mud-caked boots and an iron will. She is the warrior spirit of the family, the one who understood long ago that to sustain an empire amidst the storms of time, one does not need more indulgence, one needs an unbreakable spirit. In the royal world, the line between an individual and an empire is often blurred by incomprehensible figures. People often speak of a trillionaire life, a concept that may sound like hyperbole but is actually a vast financial system that the royals oversee. It is a strange privilege. They enjoy unparalleled luxury and access to priceless treasures without the direct financial burdens faced by private billionaires. Yet, it is within this delicate boundary that Princess Anne chose to make a clear distinction. While the latest financial analyses show a staggering increase in royal personal wealth, jumping from £610 million to £640 million in just a single year, Anne remains outside this whirlwind of glamour. She lives among historic estates like Sandringham and Balmoral, properties valued at hundreds of millions of pounds, yet she has never allowed herself to be blinded by the numbers. To her, castles and palaces are not ornaments for display, but legacies to be preserved through discipline. The working machine of the British royal family. Behind the controversial figures surrounding the true extent of royal wealth, where investigations can yield valuations differing by billions of dollars, lies a cold, hard truth. Such immense fortune comes with a staggering expectation of devotion. While the world is occupied with analyzing investment portfolios worth hundreds of millions of pounds, the splendor of estates like Balmoral and Sandringham, and jewelry collections valued at over $500 million, Princess Anne has quietly transformed those privileges into a tireless, working machine. Unlike other members who might spend a lifetime preparing for a preordained position, Anne chose to begin her mission immediately and has never looked back. She does not own financial empires like the Duchy of Cornwall, yet she possesses a different kind of power, absolute public credibility earned through labor. To Anne, multi-million-dollar racehorses or priceless art collections are not symbols of hedonism, they are the tools of a persistent diplomacy. She understands that to protect a legacy of tax exemptions and profound privileges, the only way is to prove she is worth every penny the public provides. While the royal machinery may take decades to evolve, Anne has turned herself into an efficient entity, converting tangible wealth into the intangible value of trust. She did not wait for the crown to call her name. She has exercised her power through every journey and every charitable project, becoming the most enduring engine beneath the polished surface of the monarchy. While the world buzzes with talk of massive $500 million inheritances being transferred entirely tax-free, Princess Anne chooses to focus on a different kind of debt, a profound debt to legacy and devotion. Amidst a financial system that allows hundreds of millions of pounds to circulate untouched by the standard tax obligations of ordinary citizens, Anne serves as the guarantor for the legitimacy of those very privileges. She does not sit back and watch her accounts grow through property surges or investment dividends. While the royal machinery sees its assets jump by tens of millions of pounds annually through shrewd financial management, Anne views true profit through the lens of responded correspondence and completed charitable missions. To her, tax exemption is not a gift, but a heavy responsibility. She understands that every pound retained by the crown must be compensated with unconditional service, transforming privileges often met with criticism into a tool for the most enduring public service. While her brother Charles felt the weight of his unique position in a ghastly and inexorable way, Anne turned that distinction into a razor-sharp weapon for service. She has no need for a system, meticulously organized and precisely calibrated, merely to eliminate the minor inconveniences of daily life. While the monarchy tends to build a perfect shell to erase every possible friction and annoyance of reality, Anne chooses to face the outside world head-on. She is the one who understands profoundly that in an era of volatility, the survival of the monarchy lies not within gilded walls, but in her tireless presence among the public. She is not merely a cog in the system, she is its most vital engine, proving that even in a trillionaire life, a person's true value must still be measured by devotion and absolute loyalty. Have you ever felt the pressure to update yourself just to keep pace with society? Anne does not. She tends to her own possessions and rejects superfluous service in exchange for freedom and time. It is precisely by cutting out the toothpaste squeezing, rituals or constant outfit changes that she gains the energy to maintain a work schedule that leaves even the young breathless. Reflecting on this, we realize, frugality is not about lack, it is how she masters her life amidst a sea of gold and jewels, keeping her spirit sharp and focused on the core values of service. Not bloody likely, resilience in the face of a gun. In a world of staggering figures, where the sovereign grant can jump to £132.1 million in a single year and palace maintenance projects like Buckingham Palace cost upward of £369 million. It is easy to believe that safety and majesty can be bought. But history proved otherwise on a fateful night in 1974, when every financial statistic became meaningless in the face of a kidnapper's gun. Imagine, while the royal machinery spends tens of millions annually on security and protective protocols, Princess Anne faced death armed only with the strength of her will. When the assailant demanded she step out of her car to fulfill his kidnapping plot, she didn't flinch. In a moment where anyone might have collapsed in terror, Anne responded with 3 icy words that have since become legend: not bloody likely. That grit did not stem from the £41.2 million spent on maintaining fortress-like walls. It came from an unbreakable inner core. While the monarchy is preoccupied with record profits from the Crown estate, surpassing £1.1 billion from offshore wind farm leases, Anne reminds the world that the true value of a royal lies not in how well they are shielded within refurbishing palaces, but in how they stand firm when facing adversity. She is proof that even if you stand atop a trillion-dollar empire, the ultimate weapon remains a spirit of iron that no budget can ever afford. Try to put yourself in the shoes of an ordinary person in that fateful moment. In the dead of night, a cold barrel of a gun is pointed directly at you, your breath catches, and your heart pounds as if it's about to burst from your chest. The natural survival instinct would cause most of us to freeze in terror, collapse, or tremblingly obey every command of the assailant. This is a deeply human response to the threat of death. But Princess Anne stood there like a pillar of cold steel. Her astonishing decisiveness and calm were no accident. While the royal system might spend £34 million annually on a devoted staff, or invest thousands of pounds in bespoke suits to create a flawless image, Anne's true armor lay in her upbringing. Queen Elizabeth II did not raise a porcelain princess. From a young age, Anne was forged in an environment devoid of overindulgence, where discipline and duty were always paramount. It was precisely this lack of softening privileges that molded Anne's grit. She did not lean on a staff of 539 full-time employees to feel secure. Her security lay within her own mind. When facing the kidnapper, she didn't see a criminal threatening an icon of opulence. She saw someone obstructing her mission and her freedom. The rigorous education from her great mother taught her that even if she were surrounded by palaces refurbished with tens of thousands of pounds, a person's true worth is defined by whether they can stand on their own 2 feet when the storm hits. Breaking barriers, the first Olympian. In a world where greatness is often measured by staggering figures on a map, the House of Windsor stands in a position beyond reach. They are the largest landowners on the planet, holding 6.6 billion acres worldwide. Imagine that scale. It is 37 times the size of the Walton family's holdings and far exceeds the 177 million acres controlled by the Catholic Church. Yet, amidst this sea of vast wealth, Princess Anne craved something that neither money nor titles could ever buy: recognition based on pure merit. In 1976 in Montreal, Anne made history as the first member of the British royal family to compete in the Olympic Games. This was a dramatic turning point in her life. You might be the daughter of the woman who owns more land than anyone else on earth. But atop a horse, the animal does not care how many billions of acres you hold, or whether your family's net worth rivals that of oil-rich Middle Eastern rulers like King Salman or the Sultan of Brunei. In that arena, all privileges are stripped away. Anne chose a path filled with risk and hardship, where she had to sweat and faced painful failures to earn her place. She didn't need the immense riches of Prince Hans Adam II of Liechtenstein to feel confident. To Anne, clearing hurdles in an equestrian ring was akin to clearing the hurdles of royal prejudice. She proved to the world that even if you are born at the finish line of a trillion-dollar empire, true glory only comes when you dare to leave the safety of the palace to conquer heights with your own hands and mind. The mother ahead of her time, refusing titles for her children. The history of the House of Windsor is a centuries-long saga of negotiations between power and survival. From Henry VIII's absolute rule to the Glorious Revolution of 1688 and onto the era of Queen Victoria, the monarchy has consistently stepped back, relinquishing direct political power in exchange for the preservation of wealth and status, 2214 to 2231. Yet, while the institution was busy negotiating to retain its economic privileges, Princess Anne conducted a shocking negotiation of her own for the future of her children, relinquishing titles in exchange for freedom. Imagine the pressure of standing in the line of succession within a system where immense wealth is bound to rigid protocols and relentless public scrutiny. While King Charles III must pledge lifelong service under the crushing weight of the crown, Anne saw a different exit for Peter and Zara. She understood that no matter how much the monarchy adapts to a diverse and secular society, the labels of prince or princess remain a gilded cage separating an individual from the reality of life. She chose to defy 1,000 years of tradition. No titles, no public funding for protection, no binding royal duties. This was a decision forged in grit, perfectly reflecting her philosophy of frugality, not just saving money, but sparing the next generation from unnecessary burdens. As the British monarchy shifts toward greater transparency and alignment with democratic values, Anne had already steered her children across that finish line decades ahead of time. She proved that the greatest gift a royal mother can bestow is not a diamond on a crown, but the right to be ordinary, to write one's own destiny in a volatile world. The right hand of King Charles III. During the historic coronation on May 6, 2023, an event that blended ancient rituals with modern inclusivity, the world witnessed a powerful symbol: Princess Anne riding on horseback directly behind the king's gold state coach as gold stick in waiting. This was more than an honorary title. It was a public declaration of her status as the most loyal guardian and the living shield for her brother's reign. As King Charles III strives to build new bridges for a diverse Britain, from publicly praying with the Pope to facing challenges from nations considering republicanism like Jamaica, Anne remains his quietest and sturdiest anchor. Charles may be the most prepared monarch in history. Yet even 73 years of preparation cannot lighten the burdens that money cannot eliminate. It is here that Anne's role becomes more vital than ever. She does not just shoulder 25% of the entire royal workload. She is the custodian of the late Queen's core values: warmth, humor, and the ability to see the best in people. As the monarchy faces mounting pressure for transparency and cost-cutting, Anne stands as living proof that a 1,000-year-old institution survives not through opulence, but through unconditional devotion. She is the one helping Charles hold the helm steady amidst the storms, ensuring that the wheels of destiny keep turning even when shadowed by illness or the winds of criticism. In the final moments of a journey spanning over 7 decades of preparation, an undeniable truth emerges: King Charles III may hold the crown, but Princess Anne keeps the heartbeat of the monarchy from ever skipping a beat. Her industry is not merely a collection of statistics. It is a raw energy that earns the profound respect of her brother, a man already famous for working until 4 a.m. Imagine a sleepless night before one of the king's most significant international debuts. While the rest of the palace sleeps and the glittering lights have dimmed, Anne remains in her modest study. Buried under mountains of documents, there is a little-known story of her silent sacrifice during the preparations for a critical state visit for her brother. Despite battling pain and exhaustion from a sudden physical injury, Anne refused to rest. She understood that every minor detail in a speech or every piece of diplomatic intelligence was a brick in the foundation of the new king's prestige. She stayed up through the night, pushing aside physical suffering to personally draft and vet every line of documentation, ensuring King Charles III's debut would be nothing short of flawless. To Anne, personal health is secondary to the stability of the crown. This sacrifice requires no headlines. It only needs the knowing nod and absolute trust in the king's eyes. Amidst a trillionaire life, filled with privileges designed to erase every inconvenience, Anne chooses to retain the hardship for herself in exchange for her brother's glory and her duty to the nation. She is not just a sister, she is His Majesty's most loyal soldier. Legacy and the future of the Princess Royal title. As the twilight shadows lengthen over a reign defined by both tradition and turbulence, we realize that the trillionaire life of the House of Windsor is not merely a story of financial figures or ancient castles. It is a narrative of adaptation and survival. Within that flow, Princess Anne has done more than just hold a title. She has reshaped the legacy of Princess Royal into a new standard of devotion for the modern era. Despite possessing immense wealth and access to privileges that money cannot eliminate, Anne remains acutely aware of the true nature of her position. She understands that an institution spanning over 1,000 years can only endure if it adapts to each new era while maintaining its essential character. Anne's legacy lies not in the diamonds she inherited, but in the blueprint she leaves for future generations, a perfect fusion of transparency, frugality, and absolute loyalty to the nation. Looking toward the future, amidst rising public demands for greater accountability and transparency, the image of Princess Anne at 76, still steadfastly carrying out her duties, still exercising twice daily to maintain her vitality, and still the hardest working member of the family, serves as the most powerful justification for the monarchy's existence. She has proven that true power resides not in a glittering crown, but in an untiring spirit of service until the very end. The title of Princess Royal in the future will not be just a historical label. It will forever be synonymous with the woman who used her iron will to keep the wheels of destiny turning amidst the fiercest storms of time. The beacon of grit and enduring legacy. Princess Anne's philosophy is not merely a story of the House of Windsor. It is a powerful manifesto on the true worth of an individual in a volatile world. Amidst the opulence of a trillionaire life, she chose simplicity as the ultimate power and discipline as the true measure of freedom. Her impact on younger generations is profound. She proves that your value lies not in the titles you are granted, but in the footprints you leave on the path of service. Her decision to refuse titles for her children introduced a revolutionary mindset that self-reliance is the greatest gift a parent can bestow. She teaches us that to survive and thrive, we must never allow indulgence to erode our will. Learning from Princess Anne means learning how to preserve national identity amidst the tide of modernization. Identity is not an antique in a glass case, it is a spirit of responsibility, self-respect, and unyielding commitment to the core values of our ancestors. She preserves the British essence through her legendary, stiff upper lip and selfless labor, reminding us that no matter how the world changes, keeping our feet on the ground and our hearts toward our roots is the key to building a sustainable future. Let the grit of the Princess Royal inspire you to live a life of meaning, one where true wealth resides in a soul of steel and a lifetime dedicated to values greater than oneself. We hope that through these stories, you've glimpsed not just the silhouette of a trillion-dollar monarchy, but also found for yourself a spirit of iron, a life of discipline, and unconditional devotion in an ever-changing world. If you found the lessons from Windsor's secret weapon helpful and inspiring for your own journey, please don't forget to leave a like and hit that subscribe button to support the channel. Your engagement is our greatest motivation to continue diving deep into the secret files and untold stories of world-class figures. Thank you for watching, farewell, and we look forward to seeing you on our next journey.